Welcome everybody to the Broken Wing Racing League. This is the GT3 Sprint Championship, Season 14, Round 10, here at Spa-Francorchamps in the Ardent Forest of Belgium. Now, we got 10 minutes, 15 seconds in practice, and just go over some of the highlights so far. We have 2 more rounds after this round. But so far, in the lead for the Pro Series is Nick Mazza in P1, Mark Foley in P2, and Christopher Chitterling in P3. And then further down the lineup there in the Pro-Am division, you have Chris Lambeth in P1 over Marshall Scary, who's in P2, and Cooper McCoy, who's in P3. Now, a little controversial, those Chris Lambeth and Marshall Scary did have a slight incident, not the two of them coming together, but an incident that was involved with both of them being at the not in a good hand there. But the victor went Chris Lambeth on the receiving end of that incident, ultimately spun but still ahead of Marshall after that incident occurred. In the AM class is going to be Alex Zier, who's in P1 over Eric Koonsman in P2 and Jeff Lubitsch in P3. Alex Zier is not going to be here in this race, so it's points, double points for whoever's up there. I think it's going to be Eric Koonsman at the moment. He is the lead AM class driver right now in P15. And then going over to our rookie class, we still got some rookies out there. Braden Daniels is P1, Gage Yams in P2, and Andre Rodriguez P3. They are the drivers that are still out there. I'm not even sure if any of them are going to be here for this race. Taking a look here at Braden Daniels. He is here. Gage. I don't think I saw any of the Valhalla Racing driver liveries, so I don't think he's going to be here. But Andre Rodriguez, maybe. And that's a no to Andre Rodriguez. Is there any other AM class drivers? Patrick Rich is out there. Yale Pena, he's new. He's out there. Got a couple others, I'm sure. None others that I could see. None of those that I can see. But interestingly enough, Tyler Anderson with that 2:16.8 is the fastest man on track, and he's not the only one. Nick Mazza is also in the 2:16s, followed by Ethan Bass, who's in P3. The 2:17s onward to P17 which is Chris Lambeth, in the 2:17s, followed by Jake Daly in P18 in the 2:18s, and then the 2:18s stay pretty consistent till P31. Yale Pena is the last driver in the 2:18s. Michael Sharon is in P32 with the 2:19, and then the 2:19s go onward to P37. P38 and 39 are slightly off pace, but beyond that, everyone else has set a lap. The drivers who have not set laps, Noah Hoskinson, Joshua Jablonski, Brian Zaborowski Jr. We'll see. That's 42 drivers that are going to be on the grid. We're not saying it's going to be kind of light, but I think it's about normal. 40-ish plus drivers. It's about normal. That being said, going over the team standings, we have SimCity Racing 1, Jason Allen and Nicholas Mazza in P1. Jason's Chicken Shop is in P2. Draft Punk Bronze is in P3. Untitled Team 1 in P4. Ski Team is in P5. SimCity Racing in 2 in P6. Caffeine Global Motorsports in 7. Little Lug Nuts in 8. Pit Lane Donuts in 9. Cars Racing, Savage Speeders in 10, Draft Punk Silver in 11, Draft Punk Gold in 12, Mist Apex Racing in 13, Jason's Chicken Shop Janitorial Team in 14, Acer Race in 15. Danik Lisak Racing is no longer with us, but they're still in 16 over Prosciutto Punch Racing in 17. Pax Oceani, Jimmer Bimmer, Power Outer, no longer with us, but they're P18. Darkwing Racing is in 19. Pax Oceani, insert name here, in 20. Shadowline Racing in 21. Puck Yeah Racing in 22. Pax Oceani, Jimmer Bimmer, Power, the second half, that team's here with us now. They're in 23. Southbound Racing in 24. Arrow Racing in 25. Pax Oceani placeholder in 26. 26 teams. Not all the drivers are here for all these events, but there it is. We have it on the board. All the teams that are participating and the standings for them. Now, with 4 minutes 34 seconds left in practice, it's going to be an interesting one. Tyler Anderson has not raced in quite some time. If I have to go through this, he missed round 1, round 6, round 8. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. Can't see his name here. So he missed 2 rounds in the first half. And he's missed round 9. He was here for round 7 and 8. But he missed round 9 at Aragon, which wasn't that bad of a race. I actually thought it was one of the most exciting races we've had, despite me trashing that track in Spain. I think it was Spain. Yeah, in the middle of nowhere. It was great. It was a great race. Great racing by everyone. Fairly clean too. No safety cars. The safety car generator is going to be used in this race as well. So if there is indeed a scenario which that occurs and we get one, and just like me yawning there, it's going to be a yawn until we get back to green, because this is a long spot to be doing a safety car at. That being said, we are almost there. Qualifying is about to start. It's going to be kind of exciting here for the AM class drivers. They no longer have the utterly dominant Alex Sear here to ruin their day. We have Eric Koonsman leading out right now in P16. He's actually ahead of our Pro-Am driver, of Chris Lambeth, who's in P18. So it goes to show you Eric Koonsman has some pace here. Dylan Thomas also in P17, just behind Eric Koonsman here. Now we got Spencer Smith. He's in the Pro-Am. He's P19. Jake Daly is an AM class driver. Formerly Jason Daly. Changed his name. And then Colin Luckhurst. Other AM class drivers in P21, just behind. So Eric Koonsman does have a little bit of competition there. They're not too far away from him. Patrick Rich is a rookie driver. He's not the highest rookie out there, though. That honor goes to... Actually, he might be. Actually, he is. Is he? It's dubious, but I believe that this driver here is the rookie in the lead right now. Patrick Rich. Connor Burns, also a rookie, who's just behind him in P24. Brandon Burns, right behind in P24. I think I said that. 23 and 24. Connor Burns, Brandon Burns. Father-son. And look at that. We have Matt Benson here. One of the Valhalla drivers is out here on track. Just not the one in the rookie class. And he's going awfully slow. Cooper McCoy's out there and goes to P21 with that time on the board. That gets him a 2:18.3. Joshua Jablonski, I believe he's gone up already to the pro class. Yes, he's He's done there in the rookies. But we still got Braden Daniels, Patrick Rich, Honor Burns, Yale Pena, who's got a nice Alpine livery. And I want to say that's it. Everyone else is accounted for. Mark Foley crossing the line to go to 4th. That's pretty impressive. Now the times to beat are going to be a low 217. 217s range from P3 onward to P19. So a high 217 will be possibly P19, maybe even P20. The 1 and 2 in practice did get 216s, but in qualifying that's going to be very difficult, especially with all this traffic we might be able to see. As maybe there's not going to be too much traffic. There's 42 drivers that are out there. And before we start, and everyone's going to get on their way, just a brief word from Art. And we're back. Jake Daly is going to take us to car racing here for the hot lap inward. We might see that. I don't know. Elliot Burton is right behind him and looking to make a move already. No safety car tonight? I thought they said there was going to be a safety car. Elliot Burton getting by. And did they amend that last minute? Oh yeah, they did. Well, you look at that. They did amend it. Oh. Yeah, but it was an amended thing, though, because before it was Craig posting that there was going to be a safety car, and then the amendment of no one. That's going to be kind of brutal for anyone that gets into a contact that would have resulted in a safety car. I mean, the safety car itself would have been brutal. This track length, plus having to go around that many. Even 2 laps would have been brutal. But here we go. Elliot Burton, first driver out on his hot lap. We'll hop on board. And that's not boding well. Anthony V. Jenkins just left the pits. And at 1.7 isn't that bad, but this tire's not going to be able to tempt. He might even catch this driver. Might be a good tow for him here. Who knows? I mean, he did gain 2/10, but he's going to have to worry about this driver as he gets ever so much closer in those corners to a cone. And to that, he backed out pretty nice. And so it looks like Andy V. Jenkins isn't making too much trouble for anyone involved, because now Jake Daly's gone on by as well. Kept it pretty clean through Poulan. And as it stands, if this is a legitimate lap, which it is so far. Drivers have some off tracks already. Elliot Burton is not one of them. initially he will be P1, but where is everyone else going to stack up here? Dylan Thomas, who's definitely in a different spot there. He was just right behind. Jake Daly going down. Not going to tumble down the order, but Nick Mazza going fastest overall. There, John Javecki's right behind in P4 now as Mark Foley crosses line and goes fastest with a 2:17.067. Fastest overall so far, and Jacob Simmons also in there. The Jason's Chicken Shop doing fairly well in qualifying so far, as Eric Neville has now crossed the line for the Pax Oceani and gone into second, and Spencer Smith into 11th. Now dropped down because Joshua Jablonski just took that from him. It's Chris Lambeth is in 10th at the moment, Alex Othen in 9th at the moment, Cooper McCoy in 8, Archer Scari in 7, John Javecki down into 6 after everyone's kind of separated there. Matt Benson into 13th. Jake Daly now is into 14th. Brandon Burns into 15th. Michael Sharon in 16. Charles Reed in 17. Colin Luckhurst takes P18 and takes the Pro-Am, I think. Yeah, not Pro-Am, but takes the AM class provisional pole there at the moment over Eric Koonsman, who's in 19th. Connor Burns in 20. Jeff Lubitsch in 21. Jed Cotterman in 22. Dave Palmer 23, Tom Smith in 24, Craig Reese 25, Brad Jorgensen 26, and Chris Stewart 27th. Odd place for Chris Stewart to be in at the moment, I would say. This is a quick driver, and he did a 2:21.7. I'm sure he's got a lot more pace than that. Going back over, we have Eric Neville in the pits. Nick Mazza now has Jason M. Allen behind him. SimCity Racing drivers are actually working as a team to qualify together. Kind of looks like that's what's up. Mark Foley, he's on an out lap. Marshall Scari, he's the lead Pro-Am class driver at the moment. He's P2 in the championship. Chris Lambeth is behind him in P10. In qualifying, Lambeth is P1 in the championship. A huge swing of points could be in order here if he maintains this pace over Chris Lambeth here. And across the line, does he improve? No, he does not. And Alex Othen did improve. He goes to P6. Chris Lambeth about to cross the line. What can he do? He's P11, dropped down one spot, and that lap put him into P10 again. And Ethan Bass just crosses the line to do a 2:16.7. Fastest we've seen with the only 2:16. Rodrigo Theory crossing the line to go to P8. As Eric Koonsman has improved. Oof. He's P20 at the moment, but he did improve overall. He's ahead of Colin Luckhurst. And also the lead AM class driver at the moment. Braden Daniels, who is behind him, is actually a is a rookie driver with the AM class accents on. But as far as rookies go, who is our lead rookie? It's not Jake Daly. It might be Connor Burns. Braden Daniels is in the 13th. Patrick Rich hasn't set a time on the board, so right now, as it stands, we have Connor Burns in 26, who's the leading rookie class driver. I think he just, yeah, that was an off track for him. Unfortunate. It's going to have to be a reset. Brian Zaborowski Jr. crosses the line to go to P24. Charles Whedon into 24. As Michael Othen went into 20, they got shuffled down the board. Dave Palmer down into 31st. Braden Daniels 32. Yale Pena 33. Tom Smith 34. Craig Reese 35. Patrick Rich is in 36. Brad Jorgensen in 37. Anthony V. Jenkins, who's in P38. Now this one is a kind of a surpriser here. Anthony V. Jenkins, he's a quick driver. he's been quick all season. He goes to P20, 31 with that one on the board. That puts him in a 2:19.2. Maybe just haven't had any time to practice, but he has been quick at other tracks, and I mean top 15 quick, so top 10 even on some of these tracks. Jason M. Allen is still yet to set a time on the board. Trey Mistack, what can he do? He goes to P8 with his time of 2:17.6, so he has set a time on the board. And Jason M. Allen from SimCity Racing, what is possible here for this driver who has set 0 lap on the board? Where does that put him? That's a 2:17.3, puts him into P7. Chris Gazel, I don't know how to say that guy's name, Gexel, no time on the board, but he's our last driver. 43 drivers on the that are technically out there. 2 of them have not set times on the board. That's Noah Hodgkinson and Mark Miller. But Chris is out here. Looks like he might be able to. He's a rookie. Tyler Anderson, the driver I had not said anything about just yet, but here he is in P2. Overtook Mark Foley for that top spot. Didn't actually take the top spot. He just overtook him for P2. Ethan Bass was the one that got P1 off of both these. So that was 2:16.8 as well. So 0.101 and separation from P1 and 2 here. This Jason. Quick lap for Jason M. Allen. John Javecki still holding out P8. Elliot Burton, one of the first drivers to get a lap in P9 at the moment with a mid 2:17. And through Pouon, this is going to be kind of rough. No one is on their outlap between these guys, and so you don't want to slow the other driver down. Tyler Anderson backs out completely. Oof. I said it completely, but it looks like those two came into contact, and honestly, that's going to be a big blow there for Chris. I mean, hopefully his car isn't no, it's got some damage. I'm going to say it's not going to be enough time to go to the pits and come back out and get one flyer, and he's just going to have to trudge along with whatever damage this is. And that's actually, the more you look at it, there's a little bit more significant damage on that left rear. That's going to be unfortunate for his qualifying chances. Mark Foley's still out there. Eric Neville is still out there. Nick Mazza is also still out there. All these guys are mostly out there. I think we have a couple that have just kind of stopped. As it stands, Chris Lambert does lead Marshall Scari. They're P13 and 14, but Rodrigo Theory is in 12th, just ahead of them. Actually, Alex Authen is also ahead, and that is... Look at that. Eric Neville just crossed the line to take P2 with a 2:16.8. Jason M. Allen across the line. Does he improve? He's P8. No improvement. Jacob Simmons, no improvement. Now it looks like Alex Authen is our lead Pro-Am driver. Kind of a surprise to see so many Pro-Ams in the mix in the top end. And one could say Rodrigo Theory he's now in P2, and Chris Lambert is P3. And there goes Dylan Thomas, another Pro-Am driver, just shuffling themselves into the mix. Now we have P11 through 15, actually 16. Wait, make that 17, 18. Yeah, and Jake Daly goes into it. An AM class driver goes to P18, splitting these Pro-Am drivers from P11 to P17. AM class driver in 18, and 19 is another Pro-Am driver. Fascinating. And then you got your other ones in. So Jake Daly leading the AM class drivers over Eric Koonsman, who's just behind, as well as I believe Jeff Lubitsch, who's just ahead of Eric Koonsman in P22. So big change in the order. Ethan Bass across the line. Does he improve? As Mark Foley did take pole with a 216.661. And a lot of the drivers have called it quits. We are on overtime here, and only a few drivers are out there. Kind of curious to see which ones are going to stick it out. It looks like we still got a couple drivers left in that was just exiting turn 10, going through No Name. And Nick Mazza across the lines in P5. No change in the order. Whoa! Patrick Rich lost it on the exit there. On Luckhurst, who's in P25. No improvement there. Tom Smith across the line, P37. Does improve a position. Eric Koonsman in P23. Does he improve? I don't think so. I don't think there was an improvement there. Chris Gaxol, no improvement for him as well. Marshall Scary across the line in P15. Does he improve over Chris Lambeth? No, it doesn't look like that is the case. And now we just have Matt Benson, the last driver on the track. He's P19. And it doesn't even look like he has enough fuel to make it to end this. Oh. Oh. Getting some... leave it to Matt Benson to give us some pit lane donuts. That's his team name as well. Well, there you have it, folks. Our grid: Mark Foley P1, Ethan Bass P2, Eric Neville P3, Tyler Anderson P4, Nick Mazza P5, Trey Misek P6, Jacob Simmons P7, Jason M. Allen in P8, John Javecki P9, Elliot Burton P10, Alex Alton P11, Rodrigo Theory P12, Chris Lambert P13, Dylan Thomas P14, Marshall Scary P15, Spencer Smith P16, Cooper McCoy in 17, Jake Daly in 18, Matt Benson 19, Chris Stewart 20, Joshua Jablonski 21, Jeff Lubitsch 22, Eric Koonsman 23, Michael Otha 24, Colin Luckhurst 25, Charles Reed in 26, Brandon Burns in 27, Brian Zaborski Jr. in 28, Connor Burns 29, Miles Brown 30, Michael Sharon in 31, Dave Palmer 32, Craig Reese 33, Jed Cotterman 34, Anthony V. Jenkins 35, Braden Daniels 36, Tom Smith 37, Yale Pena 38, Patrick Rich 39, Brad Jorgensen 40, Noah Hoskinson 41, Mark Miller 42, and Chris Gaxol in 43. Although 41 and 42 may not actually make it on the grid, they didn't participate in practice or qualifying. So, that being said, we are about to go racing. Pepper Jack you. No. Mark Foley with the extra pickles. Re-race donuts. Tire warming. Probably too much tire warming. Just ask Scott McLaughlin how that worked out. What a move, by the way. What a move. More than likely, it'll be 41 drivers total that are going to be participating in tonight's race. This is the GT3 Sprint Championship Season 14, Round 10 here at Spa, Francorchamps, and the Ardent Force of Belgium. And we are still waiting on a few drivers. Actually, just one. And I'm sure we'll have that done. 20 laps are racing. And we are a go. Now, predictions for tonight's race. Can Mark Foley hold on to P1? That will be the question. Nick Mazza is leading the pro standings at the moment over Chris Chitterling, who's in P3, Mark Foley, who's in P2. Nick Mazza's in P5 at the moment on the grid. Chris Chitterling isn't even here for this race. And we will have just 41 drivers confirmed. Ethan Bass. In this fight, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all unfolds. Your second row is Tyler Anderson, Eric Neville. Your third row, Nick Mazza, the driver leading the pro standings. Trey Mistak, who's in P4 in the pro standings. And a reminder, Trey Mistak never qualified for the first half of this season. Started qualifying for the last, I think, two rounds, I should say. So the fact he's P4 is a testament to his skill. And then further back, you got your Pro-Am drivers. How is this going to work? Is Eric Neville going to get a jump here? And it looks like a weird start as Trey Mistak is a little bit out of pocket, as well as Tyler Anderson, Nick Mazza there. Not quite sure how that all is unfolding, but we are going to go too wide through this area, and it looks pretty well in hand. But further up, Nick Mazza and Tyler Anderson have to sort this out before. There we go. And further back, got some wide angles here for some of these drivers. And it looks pretty clean. There's Jake Daly losing 3 positions since the start of this race. But not too bad, all things considered. He still is the AM class favorite. Eric Koonsman is 2 positions behind him. That is his real race. Actually, that's not the biggest thing there. So we got a car spun around, and now that's spun one of the AM class drivers. That was Eric Koonsman, I think. No, it wasn't. Someone else. It was Jeff Lubitsch. Oh, that's unfortunate. This is great so far. Jacob Simmons has gained 2 positions. Nick Mazza gained 2. Eric Neville is the driver that lost out there. Eric Neville was actually done entirely. Oh, that's unfortunate. Dylan Thomas has made up 5 positions so far. So Eric Neville, that contact on lap 1 into Brussels, whatever that contact looked like, we'll take a look shortly. But that is indeed the situation here. It's Tyler Anderson No positions gained or lost. In P4. Guess we'll see in a second. We got cars very close together. Spencer Smith, Marshall Scarry on the outside. Cooper McCoy getting through just fine. Joshua Jablonski F4 over Chris Stewart. And look at that send to the inside. Miles Brown on Eric Koonsman. And that is very close. Jake Daly just narrowly escapes that. But Miles Brown now up 9 positions. And Jake Daly almost has contact there as they go into turn 1, the source. Eric Koonsman trying to battle back here against Miles Brown. I didn't like that one. Further up, you have Cooper McCoy. Back, you have Matt Benson. A move there. And is this another spot loss for Eric Koonsman? Eric staying ahead of Colin Luckers. Ooh! And that is not his fault. That is a Pro-Am driver that just spun Colin Luckhurst out and he has to tow. Yeah. Got it right on that. It's unfortunate. Ethan spun on it. Eric spun on his own. Oh, his front tap, which means zero grip. Well, let's take a look here. Eric Neville. Oh. Yeah. I don't even know if you can see a chopper of that. Yeah, he tapped Ethan's rear there ever so slightly. And then the Jeff Lubitsch one was, he gets tapped by, that is the 515 car of a SimCity Racing for sure. And then Connor Burns, I think lost it on his own maybe. Take a look. That is through Puon, right? Oh no, came into contact with another driver. That driver, Yale Pena, also just lost it on his own. Unfortunate. And then Michael Sharon here of Cars Racing, Savage Speedsters, just lost it right there. That's unfortunate. That was Jed Cotterman. Maybe it's Brandon Burns or Jed Cotterman. One of those drivers was the driver that. It'd be a little bit more interesting if it was his dad, but I don't think it was. I think it was Jed Cotterman that Connor Burns had contact with, but it could have been anyone. Right now, oh, we're live, and that is a driver of Chris Stewart who just lost several positions there. Oh, Cooper McCoy, and take a look at this on the chopper. Leave it a space, maybe you would say. They didn't have enough space for both of them to be going through Lacombs like that. Now Brandon Burns is out there. No positions gained or lost for him, but he's got Dave Palmer just ahead of him. Jed Cotterman just behind. 6 positions gained for both the drivers ahead and behind him. What an interesting turn of events. Oh. A little bit wide there. And he's lost some time on that one. In a brief look back at the past, we have Patrick Rich here. Oof. And Anthony V. Jenkins. Oh, yikes. 4-car pileup. That might have been a safety car, actually. These two right here. That's a stop. That's a stop. Yep. That would have caused a safety car. That would for sure have been that. Unfortunate. Patrick Rich no longer has any scenario here going for him. Oh! I think that was Michael Sharon of Cars Racing that came into contact with him, but that was it. Said and done. Mark Foley still leading over Ethan Bass, Nick Mazza, and P3. Tyler Anderson now hot on the heels of Nick Mazza as they are separated by 2/10. Jacob Simmons just a little bit further back, 8/10 away, just under a second. We're only on lap 4 of 20, and we have seen some retirements. 4, but 3 to be specific. This was supposed to be 4, but I don't know who the last guy is. I guess he left that early. Brandon Burns finally trying to make a move here and almost had it down there. Dave Palmer's got a good defense here for P26. Now, if he could follow him through Blanchimont, he might have a good chance in the bus stop. What has actually been quite surprising is no one right now, through turn 18 there, that left-hander, no one's hit the green machine wall. Notoriously, there is several people that die hitting the inside wall of turn 18 here at Spa. As the many rounds we've ever gone here, there's at least a couple drivers that have hit that. So far, we've had no instances of that. Great entry and exit for Brandon Burns here. Is this the moment when he gets to surpass Dave Palmer, or is there going to be a definite battle into Eau Rouge? No battle, but maybe on the Kemmel Straight will nab him. The Porsche being a slower on the straight line. Really no change in the order here, though. Jed Cotterman has actually caught up to these drivers. And nothing amiss. Cooper McCoy still behind Spencer Smith here. Matt Benson up only 1 position, but Miles Brown, the real talk of the town here, he's up 11 positions, the highest amount gained so far. Tom Smith has a black flag already. It's in P30, 36. He has gone out and he has served his penalty. I'm surprised we can see what that one is. Chris Stewart trying to make a move here on Eric Koonsman. Not the driver at risk here. Oh. Oof. And through Stavlo. Just spun it on his own there. Charles Whedon dropping down and has to wait for all cars. John Javecki, Dylan Thomas getting racy. Dylan Thomas is in P9 at the moment, and he's leading over Alex often. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the Pro-Am driver, P1 and 2. Yeah, it is. So we got a battle for the Pro-Am win tonight. And they are 9th and 11th. And their teammate, John Javecki, Alec Authen's sister teammate, is right in the middle of it. Now, is he going to want to try to get by, back him up, help out his sister teammate? Probably not. I don't think they're going to work that way. Alex Authen getting really loose there. Saving it, though. Didn't really lose out much time there either. That's the important part. Matt Benson sending it down the outside line here on Cooper McCoy and gets on by. And through No Name, he's going to hold on to that. Thank you, Benny F_Jr. for the follow. Cooper McCoy now stuck in a sandwich here. He's got Miles Brown, a driver who's fairly quick, but he's also a pro driver classification. Typically, these battles are a lot more, say, one-sided, but they usually end to the quicker guy, quicker classification. But that being said, Chris Stewart, also a pro driver who's stuck behind Eric Koonsman. And no slouch, Eric Koonsman has been doing fairly good up until I just spoke, because he just went off the track and their times were identical. But it looks like Chris Stewart is going to get the move down into Blanchimont, and it is all said and done there for Eric Koonsman. Things not to do. Talk, I guess. They're going to go side by side here, and Cooper McCoy still... I mean, I think they got a little bit of a little racy, and maybe their doors banged. And look at that. Miles Brown opting to go to the outside line here as Cooper McCoy gives a hefty defense along that inside. But is it enough? Now Miles... Can he get through before Radion? I think they're going to go too wide through here, and they do give each other the room, and it goes to... Ooh, no! There was a lot of trust in Dave Palmer. Oh, no! Oh! And that is a rough one. Jeff Lubitsch gets by. Connor Burns also got by. That was fantastic. Joshua Jablonski and Marshall Scari battling it out here. Joshua Jablonski up and gets past right there on the exit of... what was that? No Name. Or the entry of No Name, I should say. And there's 7 positions gained for Joshua Jablonski. And it is still a real strong race here. Dylan Thomas leads the Pro-Ams. And you see all those purple Pro-Am accents. A couple of pro drivers in the mix with those orange accents. But right now, it is Dylan Thomas who leads with 5 positions gained. And look at them. They're separated by nothing. Another group that's separated by nothing, Elliot Burton and Jason M. Allen. They are separated by 2/10. And into the bus stop, they're going to keep this heat going. Now that is crazy to see. Just in the background, 4 seconds back, that is a train of Pro-Am and Pro-Class drivers that are battling it out. Only a second is separating most of them. The biggest one right now is Joshua Jablonski, who's been tearing through the field. He's P14. He's got Rodrigo Theory right there in his sights. Marshall Scari also in this battle. The one that is most, I guess, challenging is going to be Chris Lambeth here, who's in 12th. He's not winning this race at the moment, or leading it for the Pro-Ams, but he is in the lead of the title fight. In the standings, his rival is Marshall Scari right at the end of this little train of drivers. John Javecki trying to make a move here on Dylan Thomas. Hasn't been able to. And still, they go for it. Rodrigo Theory. Is he going to lose a spot here to Joshua Jablonski. They're going to go side by side through Bruxelles, and it looks like the Porsche might have this down, and it is not over as Rodrigo Theory keeps that speed on the outside and keeps that lead over Joshua Jablonski, and a battle is still on. Another noteworthy thing about this pack, Alex Othen, sister teammates to John Javecki, might even be his teammate. I don't even know what the teams are at Pax Oceani. They changed the last time around, and I have not figured out who's on whose team. But Alex Othen in P2 in the Pro-Am standings, or not in the standings, but in this race, Dylan Thomas is leading, and if anything, you would like John Javecki to get out of the way. It's not me saying this, but even as a sister teammate, you're like, I want to go for this title fight here, this win at Spa, and he's just got to sit behind his sister teammate and wait for hopefully him to overtake Dylan Thomas, who's leading on lap 9. And it's might be closer than ever. Is he going to try to make a move here before Radion? He's following fairly well and consistent. They are separated by nothing when it comes to their last laps. Weirdly, he loses him just a little bit through the Kemmel Straight. Another great fight on our hands. Cooper McCoy and Chris Stewart. Matt Benson just leading these three. I think Cooper McCoy's been holding a really strong defense here to Chris Stewart over the last couple laps. The difference in pace through the last laps is also not that much different. You know, say 0.250 tenths. Chris being the fastest one of them. No change in the order just yet. Jed Cotterman has had Braden Daniels in his sights. 4 tenths separating these two. And Braden Daniels up 13 positions. Highest amount out of everybody here. We'll go over to John Javecki, see if he's got a chance here. Oh no! Oh no! And our first driver that I have witnessed has paid the ultimate price here. Exit a Blanchimont left-hander and lost it and hit the green machine wall that has taken a lot of drivers out through many rounds at Spa. That one is got a sting for Dylan Thomas. Unfortunate. You hate to see it. He's going in the pits. He's gotta repair that car. It is unfortunate for him. Mark Foley is in P2. Alright, well, we're going to have to take a look at this. How long has he been in P1 or 2? Oh, here we go. This was lap 5. I guess I didn't see this happening. It was on the Kemmel Straight. And Ethan gets the move down through Lacombe's. and yep, is able to stick it. Move said and done, and that has been it for a while, actually. This was the Dave Palmer incident. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But look at the navigation there. That was Connor Burns getting out of the way. Go back real quick. Ooh. That's a good one. Michael Othen lost it through Lacombs. No foul there. And Chris Gaxol also. This one's a little bit different. I don't know the Freedom livery. I don't know who that is, but oof, on the Kemmel straight, they just come together, and that was definitely. Oh no, Miles Brown barely got out of that one. I don't know who hit who. It's unfortunate. Elliott Byrne in the pits, exiting out now. Now he might be the first driver to do so. He is out of the drivers. Out of P1 through 18, he is the first. Marshall Scari's in P21 at the moment. Michael Othen's just ahead. Marshall Scari exiting the pits. Second driver, but he had pit a lap earlier to Elliott Burton. So Elliott Burton wins out a little bit on that overcut. I don't think that was really in his sights, though. I think there was a good difference there to both those drivers in positions, if I'm not mistaken. Cooper McCoy still has Chris Stewart behind him. If you're Chris Stewart, you might want to pit opposite of this driver. He's not held you up, but you haven't been able to get by him. An alternate pit strategy might have been the call. Now our lead Pro-Am driver is Alex Othen, who's ahead in P19. Sorry, P9, not P19. You know what I was saying? Jake Daly is in P15. Doing fairly well for the AIM class driver. He's going to be winning this race if he keeps it up. He's leading. All these drivers go into the pit lane together. Someone to note, you have Elliott Burton who pit before these drivers. Now how's this going to work out? Matt Benson stayed out. He has not gone in the pits. So he's going to gain a bunch of positions there. It's like Connor Burns goes into the pit lane as well as Michael Othen. Elliott Burton is going to retake a huge margin of these positions. He was battling the top 8. Now he's the driver in P15 and the only driver from P1 through 14 now he's pit. None of the other ones from P1 through 14 have. So the big shakeup here is he's 42 seconds off P1 and it takes 36 seconds to pit, or at least it did for him. He did a 36-second pit stop. We got some 34.5s, 35.6, 35.5, 35.2, and that is going to be the difference. He's going to cut most of these positions out once those drivers opt for the pit stop. Now, more impressive is that Marshall Scari, who pit on lap 9, has actually jumped a few of these drivers and is now battling with Chris Lambeth. This is the drivers in P1 and 2 in the standings in the Pro-Am class, and now they're separated by no other drivers. Now it comes down to who's going to be the more skillful driver on track during the remainder of this race. Can he get by Chris Lambeth, or is Chris Lambeth going to have a good defense and some pace to keep it in the lead? Now all these drivers are going in. Alex Othen also going in. That's when we get to see. Whoa! Oh! And crucially, he missed everybody, but what actually happened? Oh, he lost the rear. Yeah, that was close. That is rough. All right. Elliot Burton. Where is he going to go? We got drivers already out there. Matt Benson did not pit. He's on lap 13. He's still battling out these guys. Elliot Burton exits La Source there and is ahead of Alex Oth and John Javecki. We already kind of figured he was going to be in that spot. So back to P9. It's going to be P8 after Matt Benson. Tyler Anderson just clears Matt Benson there, who has yet to pit. Those 15 positions gained will drop down to some margin, as he needs to do that. And now Rodrigo Theory and Chris Lambeth are battling, and unfortunately Marshall Scari, he was able to save it, but he's dropped down P22. While they're pretty equal on speed right now, it doesn't look like anyone's going to try to make a move. I was going to guess it'd be Jablonski first. He's powered through. He's got 7 positions gained here. I swear, you say one thing and it just becomes a part of Chris Lambeth is his meme of a livery pepperjack me. Jesus. There's ever such an overhyped cheese. There it is. Marshall Scari here, he's got Jake Daly in his sights. Jake Daly's down 3 positions, but was up 3, so I'm not sure what's happening here. Eric Koonsman is actually ahead of him as well. Jake Daly did a 35.8. Eric Koonsman is ahead, now leading the AM class. And Jake Daly down into 21. There was more than... I'm curious what happened here, because Jake Daly was leading by a pretty healthy margin. These drivers are separated by nothing. It's still no passes. They're right on each other's, as a bumper-to-bumper exchange, and nothing can be done with all that potential. Jacob Simmons, Nick Mazza, and P4 and 5. They've had a pretty good race so far. They're up. Jacob's up 2. Nick is up 1. He's not ahead of Mark Foley, though. That's the hard part. Even Bass is going to win the pro P1 spot here. I keep wanting to say championship, but that's not it. But Mark Foley is going to come in second. Bass in fourth is going to be not as many Hall of points. That is the big separation there. They're separated by 28 points. Separated by 28 points. Mark Foley coming in second here is going to be a big difference how things shake up in that championship. We'll put Mark Foley back into P1. Lap 15 of 20. And Jacob Simmons make a move on the Kemmel Straight. We haven't seen many people make moves on the Kemmel Straight, but and that's what I'm talking about there. He's right there on the rear, but cannot maximize this opportunity. There goes Nick Mazza on the inside line. Tyler Anderson now within Mark Foley's draft. We will take a look if it gets closer. The moment it isn't that close, he's still 6/10 off. These three, again, they're close. But, you know, it's like that meme where the guy's poking the stick to the just, come on, do something. These three haven't done... I mean, well, to be fair, Marshall Scari did give us a little bit of intrigue within this grouping and, you know, bend it. But they're racing each other fairly well and clean, and I just don't see anything happening thus far. They're just going to hope one other makes a mistake, maybe. I don't see any lunges or sneaky peeks. Going over to Jacob Simmons. Now this is a driver who's going to try to make a move. And he almost did. Got really close. Nick Mazza. Chris Stewart. That's Dylan Thomas for P15. Nice move into the bus stop. Ooh. Michael Sharon and Yale Pena battling out here for P30. Both pit on the same lap, so they've just been both fighting. It looks like Yale's actually quicker. He's got the quicker pace in the last lap. We have two drivers with black flags as well. Not yet served their mandatory that black flag scenario. Alright, let's go again here at Kemmel Straight. Can one make a difference here? And that's a big no. Dylan Thomas. This was flashing Chris Stewart there, but no change in the order there. Back at it. They go through Bruxelles. And nothing. Trey Mistack has just joined this fight with Nick Mazza and Jacob Simmons. It's a little further back, but now with 5 laps to go, can he make any moves? He's qualified P6 and stayed P6. This is a far different scenario than we're used to seeing Trey Mistack, who's climbed the leaderboard from last place, but hasn't been able to make a move here so far. Yeah, it's still pretty close. Everyone around the track, there's the same fights that are happening everywhere, but no direct change in the order. But we do have a fight for P1 now. Mark Foley is ever so much closer with 4 laps to go. Tyler Anderson has gotten closer, but he's still 8/10 off. Jacob Simmons and Nick Mazza going side by side, and it looks like it's going to go to Jacob Simmons. I'll pull that back just slightly. They are giving no amount of space there. And that goes to Jacob Simmons. Now leads over Nick Mazza and Trey Mistak, who's maybe trying to get into this fight. Joshua Jablonski trying to make a move here on the inside line of Bruxelles. And is he going to be able to have it down this time around? It looks like Rodrigo Theory is knocking. Oof. Oh. Now a little bit of a net code maybe. But through goes Jablonski. And that kind of shaked everything up there. I don't know what to say. Makes things a little different. Towards the end of this race. Alex Oppen still lead. We'll check back in on our leaders here. P1 is Ethan Bass, who's leading the pro drivers. Mark Foley and Tyler Anderson close behind. Now, Tyler Anderson's now 6/10. It's shaved about 2/10 off from the last lap. Trey Mistak might have a move down here in the La Source. No, it is not done. But just behind him, Alex Offen, who leads over John Chavecki. Quite surprising. It was a 33.8 and a 34.8. So that 1 second was the difference between Alex getting ahead of John Chavecki in the pits. They pit on the same lap, so that's how he got by him in the pit lane and is now ahead. He's the Pro-Am driver leading. Is Trey going to think better of it? And it looks like he does. But John Chavecki and Alex Offen just swapped positions on the Kemmel Straight. That's quite surprising. And our, not to leave out the AM class driver, but Eric Koonsman is leading the AM class championship right now in P18. Joshua Jablonski trying to have a go here at Chris Lambeth. And I want to say Braden Daniels is the driver that is in the rookie class that is leading the rookies. I think a positive on that one. P23 for Braden Daniels is ahead of Jed Cotterman, Yale Pena, Connor Burns. Patrick Rich is already out of this. Brad Jorgensen's out. Chris Gaxol's out as well. That's the last of those drivers. Hopping back over to Trey Mistak and Nicholas Mazza. Can this battle heat up? Maybe to boiling temperature. We have 3 laps left to go, and it is not quite there just yet. Someone put a wooden spoon over this pot because it is simmering. 2 laps to go. Battle for the lead is also on. Hop over to that. Mark Foley might have just one attempt here to make the move. It was done on lap 5 for Ethan Bass to take the lead. And there he goes, Hobson. And he's going to take the lead. And hopefully he has it all down, but it doesn't look like he has all the all of it set in stone. He's going to be on the outside line, and there goes Ethan Bass just ahead of him, and he retakes P1. And Mark Foley with the send, it didn't work out for him on that one, on that attempt. But it looked close. Practicing for next lap? Maybe he is. And Tyler Anderson needs to capitalize on a mistake like that. He was so close to capitalizing on it, but was unable to do so. Let's see if he can't on this this next attempt, if they end up going for it. Still a strong finish. I don't think Mark should throw away a solid haul of points. He's 3 positions up to Nick Mazza if he finishes this race in P2. I know not every driver is going to want to say P2 is good enough, but don't want to crash out on the last lap and give your competitor that much more advantage. It would only hurt Mark Foley's chances. He's P2 in the championship. He will take P1 if he finishes this race in P2. We're on the final lap. Tyler Anderson just behind. Ethan Bass is leading us. Mark Foley in the Jason's Chicken Trap livery. He's out there in P2. I don't even think he's that far along, that close enough for anything to happen. Radion, Emil Straight. He's 4/10 off, but send it, Mark. Don't listen to Jason. Ethan got a great exit of the source. That's true, and I just don't think he's there. He wasn't as close this lap as he was last lap. If he's gonna find a spot, I would say go for the big one. Go at bus stop. If you send it at bus stop and it doesn't work out, it's not that much farther to go. Cross the line. Nick Mazza's 9.1 seconds back. There's still some other battles happening on track, but this is our leaders. I'm going to stick with them. Ethan Bass leading with 4/10 over Mark Foley. Now 2/10 separating Tyler Anderson and Mark Foley. That's got to be a little bit playing on Mark Foley's mind there as he weaves through Stavlo. And half a second off, 4/10. Nothing's changing. Tyler Anderson just lost a little bit of time through the exit there. And it might be just a little bit of a buffer for all these drivers here. And unless he gets a good launch there on Blanchimont, is he going to try to make a move here into the bus stop? Is he going to pop to the inside? He's going to the outside. There's a defense played there. Tyler Anderson unable to make a move either. And that's going to be the race. Ethan Bass, P1, Mark Foley, P2, Tyler Anderson, P3, Jacob Simmons is going to cross line in P4, Nick Mazza in P5, Trey Mistak being held off there and goes to P6, Elliot Burton over Jason M. Allen for P7 and 8 of Jason and Allen, John Javecki in 9, Alex Othen, the Pro-Am driver winning this race in P10, Chris Lambeth in 11 over Joshua Jablonski, who tried to battle out that last laps there. Spencer Smith in 13, Rodrigo Theory 14, Chris Stewart 15, Dylan Thomas 16, Cooper McCoy 17, Eric Koonsman 18, the AM class winner over Matt Benson, who's in P19. Not an AM class driver, but Marshall Scari in 20, Braden Daniels, the rookie winner in P21, Jake Daly P22, Brandon Burns in P23, Jet Cottom in P24, Jeff Lubitsch 25, Brian Zaborowski Jr. 26, Michael Othen still got a little bit ways to go. Colin Luckhurst, oof, They are still battling, but Michael Othen is going to cross this line and go to P27. Connor Burns, P28. Yale Pena, a little bit further to go, and we will see here how this works out for him. Yale Pena, as long as he sticks the landing here, is going to stay ahead for P29 over Marshall Sharon in P30. Tom Smith and Connor Luckhurst were battling out there, and through Puon, they came together, and that's what we saw just a moment ago. Puck Yeah Racing of Colin Luckhurst, Tom Smith just ahead of him, 2AM class drivers battling out here. It's still up in the air for them. There's P31 and 32. Dave Palmer has crossed the line. He's in P34. And it looks like Tom Smith is going to win over Colin Luckhurst here for P31, P32 to Colin Luckhurst. And they're crossing the line. Miles Brown, a little bit further to go. And that's P33. Chris Gaxol in P35, Charles Reed in 36, Brad Jorgensen 37, Anthony V. Jenkins 38, Patrick Rich 39, Eric Neville 40, Craig Reese 41, and that is it. That's all of them said and done. Congratulations, Eric Koonsman. You finally won one. I mean, it takes Alex Sear to not be here for this one, but all the same, you weren't P1 throughout that race, so that had to play into your mind a little bit. You saw Jake Daly out there. Did you kind of notice that while you were racing?
Yeah, I was trying to keep really close to him. And then he had a little bobble after the Kemmel Straight, and it gave me an opportunity to pass him, and then it was just hang on for it from there on.
Okay, so what happened there? What happened to him? Did he just did he hit a wall, or did he just spin out?
No, I think he, on that second part of that chicane at the end of Kemmel Straight, I think he just took too much curb and upset his car and gave me a chance to make the pass going into that right-hander.
Oh, I see. Nice. Because I was kind of wondering where it all came together for you. But so you got by, and I mean, you're looking pretty racy. You actually held back. I want to say, was it Chris Stewart, or maybe not Chris Stewart? There's a driver that was a pro driver that was behind you, and it looked like you're dancing with him. You had him back behind you for quite some time, many laps. Just can't remember who it was, but that's got to feel kind of nice to hold back some of those possibly quicker drivers.
Yeah, I had Chris Stewart was behind me for a couple laps, and I was working really hard to keep him behind me till I just went off on the edge on one of the turns, and he
turned 16, right? That's right after Stavlo. Yeah, that's what I remember. Now I remember. Yeah, so you'd even lose the position in a racy manner. You just you went off on your own. A mistake happened, but he didn't get you in any other way. That's the great part to see, is you had some great defenses, and you held your line, and it was great to see. Fair play by you.
Yeah, there was a couple good battles out there. I had one at the end with Matt Benson. He caught up to me at one point, and we were really pushing each other. Just trying not to make mistakes and come home with a victory for once.
Yeah, and congratulations on that victory. It's got to feel pretty good. I mean, you're probably going to see a couple more of these. Unfortunate what happened to your teammate, Jeff Lubitsch. He did actually manage to recover his race. Not so bad, P25 for him. But I don't know. Were you in the same voice channel as him? Did you talk to him about that while the race was going on?
Yeah, we were coming around that hairpin, and I saw him spin out. I was just telling him, hold your brakes, don't move, so I can get by.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, great on you for the win, and it was pretty interesting seeing how you were able to keep it together. You had pro drivers, you had pro-am drivers all around you, and you held your own. When we see that promotion for you into the pro-ams eventually, I think it's going to look like you belong there anyway. You did phenomenal. So congratulations to you, and can't wait to see what you do next time.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Hopefully get to talk to you again in the next two races.
Absolutely. I mean, Alex Zier might be here, but maybe you got to just a little bit more practice. You might be able to get past him.
Hey, you never know. He could crash out.
Good. All right. Thanks for joining me.
All right. Thanks.
All right, folks. Thank you for joining me. That was it. No other drivers came into the cool down room. Thank you for joining me. Our oval racing, our ARCA oval races are on Wednesdays, every Wednesdays, and V-Rays, the multi-class racing, is on Thursdays. We'll be back for round 11 next Sunday, and then next week we do have the Broken Wing Le Mans Series final round that's going to be held on Tuesday. And also, don't forget to look at our merch website. There's Broken Wing Racing in the About Me section. Click the link for the merch. There's also a lot of cool merch there. Some interesting merch, some mean merch. Mean merch for sure. There's a lot of that. I think there's a Jason Chicken Shop t-shirt you can snag. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.